Hello and welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted once again to have Dean Sutherland on the channel. Dean, seems like every fight you have recently, it's myself and you on a call. But here we are. You've had a fight ordered after winning your British title eliminator. We're now on a Commonwealth title eliminator.
Yeah.
Before we get into the interview, Dean, for the viewers watching, if you enjoy this type of content, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down below what you think of Dean's upcoming fight in the comments below, and I'm sure we'll touch on a potential fight post victory. Dean,
hmm
thank you so much for coming on. You're fighting Fraser Wilkinson, 30th of November. I'll start with yourself. This is now a case of, you stepped up when you fought Louis Green uh,
hmm
and was almost, in a sense, the underdog. It was a test to see where you're at. You're now fighting Fraser Wilkinson, who is the underdog and is stepping up to fight you.
hmm
How do you feel about that? Because obviously you've won your British title eliminator. It's now the Celtic title eliminator. You are the champion. Fraser Wilkinson's coming to challenge you. Is that something you'll thrive on at this stage of your career? And is that something you've always looked for?
Uh, I would say obviously like the Louis Green fight was more. Yes, I was most likely the underdog because Louis had been in with better operators than I had been. But I think level wise, me and Louis were very, very similar. Uh, I just hadn't really had the tests on paper or on bigger shows to show that. But with me and Fraser, there there's a gulf in the level, and that the big thing for me is I need to prove that and show that. I've been there. I've been better operators, better fights, tougher fights, won more belts, everything like that. So this is more of an opportunity where it's a game opponent, good record. Uh, there's a bit of what would you say, like local rivalry and that towards it. So it gets me excited for the fight. And the fact that it's a domestic opponent, it's defending a belt. I've never actually defended one of my professional belts. Defending the belt, a Commonwealth title eliminator, and it keeps me active while the British and Commonwealth title is then sorted out on the 18th of October. So it keeps my foot in the door. And it's just unfortunate that Fraser is my opponent, but it's also a good test for me, gets me excited for it. And you know yourself, like a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter.
Definitely. You fought Jordan Granum last time out. Obviously, change of opponent very late, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Um, any British boxing fans will have seen Jordan Granum. He must. I think he's had over 200 fights. How important for you going into this fight was that sort of keep busy, six rounder, get in, keep sharp? How important are those fights for yourself?
It was more just one of that ones, just get it over and done with. I'd sold all the tickets. I think my opponent pulled out on the Wednesday evening. Jordan stepped in on the Thursday evening, and I was fighting on the Saturday. So, like me, I actually know Jordan very well. I fought Jordan in my fifth fight, and actually became quite good pals with him afterwards. Got some good connections between the two of us. So when it was Jordan, like I was like, right, okay, let's just get the 6 rounds over and done with. I've done the training camp, which it's actually worked out brilliantly with having Fraser as my next opponent because I did a full training camp with my new team for a southpaw. Obviously, that fell through, but then Fraser, my next fight, is a southpaw. So it's basically just full preparation, just invested from the last camp into this next one. Uh, in the gym, I've got numerous southpaw sparring partners and that as well. So I think it was just good just to go get the feeler, get the taster, work with my new team under the bright lights on fight night, see what they're like for them to see what I'm like, and then we can move forward from it. It definitely was not ideal the situation, but it was one of that ones you just take with a pinch of salt and just get over and done with. And the fact that we basically had this Fraser Wilkinson fight agreed literally straight after the fight. Fraser actually fought on the same show. And before I went out for my fight, Fraser had been asked if he wanted the fight, and he said yes. So as soon as I got through with my fight, my manager came up to me and said, "Is that something you'd be up for?" And I said, "You didn't even need to ask me the question. You already know the answer." So it was good that fight done and dusted and straight away got the date and the opponent confirmed. So it just meant that a day or two off and then back into the gym and that's it.
On that sort of subject, where you say it's not ideal, you've got certain plans in place. You are without thinking too far ahead. You are almost thinking of what title next.
Mm-hmm.
How for yourself? I think this is the fourth time we've spoke over a Zoom interview, and you're always so positive about it. Whatever comes in your way, anything that happens, any hurdles, it's just always almost like sometimes it can seem like one step forward, two steps back because of
Mm-hmm.
obviously potential boxing politics that are out of your control. But for yourself, obviously you're wanting that Louis Green rematch, or obviously we're fighting Sam Gilly next, but you're wanting that sort of rematch. You've won your British title eliminator. You've now got to have a Commonwealth title eliminator. Is it for yourself, you're so focused on that end goal that whatever hurdles come in the way is literally just straight over it and nothing, no skin off the back of your nose sort of thing?
Uh, no, it does take its toll. It does take its toll, especially when it's multiple times in quite a short succession. It does start to take its toll, and this is why the Fraser Wilkinson fight is brilliant for me because we spoke about doing a Commonwealth title eliminator, but I think it was like a 12-2 Nigerian opponent that my manager had looked at, and I was like, right, okay, like it don't really doesn't really get me up for it. Whereas Fraser, I know him personally, we've sparred together, we've trained together. He's with my former coach in my former gym in my home city. It's got that bitterness to it, and the fact that Fraser thinks he can beat me, I'm just like, just wait. We'll need to prove it on 30th of November. Let's see what really really happens. It's a big difference between sparring with big gloves and head guards than little small gloves in the center of the ring under the light. So yeah, it does take its toll, but then having somebody like this and opponent wise gets me up and excited for it. And the fact that the situation between Gilly and Green's been confirmed and they're fighting the 18th of October, I'm doing everything that I possibly can to get myself back into that position to fight them next. Uh, that keeps me going. But yeah, it definitely does take its toll, like mentally, and I think a lot of people could say that as well. My performance was very, very good, and a lot of people seen the difference in my performance. But like my motivation level on fight night just wasn't really there. Just through the ups and downs, the mental side of things that you go through, change opponent, change of weight, change weigh-in time, purse, everything like that. Everything was changed all in a very, very short period of time. The fact that I know Jordan as well, it was just like, right, yeah, do I really need to do I need to do this? And I was like, right, let's just get over and done with and then move on from there. But it does take its toll, but the fact that I'm so driven
Yeah,
in what I want to do makes it well worthwhile.
definitely. I think normally I'd say we have one eye on the 18th of October in just 2 weeks' time, but I think for anyone that knows you, anyone that's seen you, we know it's going to be two eyes firmly on that fight. For yourself, you've had some obstacles, you've had some hurdles, you won your British Eliminator. If you do, like you say, you show your levels in November, you
Mhm.
get through Fraser Wilkinson, you've won your Commonwealth title eliminator. Will it be a case of yourself and your team will sit there and go, that's the next fight? If it's not for the British and Commonwealth, not necessarily I'm not interested, but I don't want any more of these tune-up fights.
No, no, exactly.
Now it's that's the next fight for you.
The literally is. I've already like spoke to my manager. There's two options. It's that is the fight for the British and Commonwealth title, or it's signed by a TV promoter and we go a different route, whichever way they want to go. But I've already said it's the last time that we'll be fighting at the Beach Ballroom in Aberdeen. Uh, I don't want to take any more steps back. I've had too many times of a little bit like you were saying, one step forward, two steps back, or just staying on the same sort of level. Like I've done this. I've put everything invested into it. I've obviously I had to move down to London. That didn't 100% work out. Then I've changed and I've moved to Glasgow. I've got a flat in Glasgow now. Training with a different team. It's I'm putting all my eggs into the basket, and if it does not work out in this next two, three fights, then I really need to start questioning myself and what I'm going to do going forward. But for me, it's just fully focused. Yes, you can say one eye on the 18th of October, but at the end of the day, Fraser Wilkinson needs to be dealt with on the 30th of November. Then business can take care of itself. But I literally only have the two options. It's not staying where I am just now. It's fighting the winner of that fight or signing by a TV promoter and maybe going a different route. That is the only two options for my career going forward after this.
And for that fight, Louis Green, you know, is there a preference for you? Do you want the Louis Green rematch? Would it be Sam Gilly? Are you sort of 80-20 in favour if you just want that fight, or would you prefer it to be Louis Green?
Obviously, from a personal side of things and a redemption side, and it's got probably a wee bit more of a story in it to it. I would want the Louis Green fight. I would want to right that wrong. I know that I didn't turn up on the night and that wasn't me. Still had some success and I would love to right that wrong, as you would say. But I think also from a business and strategic side of things, I would prefer Gilly to win. Gilly's the one that's obviously just signed with Frank Warren. Uh, he obviously has got the Commonwealth title just now. If he's got British and Commonwealth, it makes a lot of sense to fight for both of them at the same time. Uh, but yeah, for me, it does not matter who's got it. But realistically, the big one for me is getting that British title. I want that Lonsdale belt. I really, really want that Lonsdale belt.
Well, Dean, we spoke. I think it's 4 times now. I think it's going to be the same every time until we get that interview, and you'll have to do the interview. You've got no choice with that Lonsdale
With
belt
the belt,
on
I
your
want
shoulder. There's
it.
absolutely no options and no answers. That isn't yes. Dean, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Can't wait to watch you out again on the 30th of November. And I can't wait to watch you hopefully February, maybe March time as British champion.
I appreciate that one. Thank you very much for your time, Milan.